up, misfits, one and all, to this episode of Call Me Skeptical. Miracles happen? I turned water into wine. Wait, no, that's just the wine speaking. Anyway, that's right. We are opening up the internet phone lines to see if anyone could explain to us why they think miracles happen. So won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for a miraculously good time? Woo! I got my chair back. What is up, everyone, and welcome. And when it's cats, it's always you are granted your chair. Thank you for allowing me to sit back in my chair. I would like to thank you all for joining us on our intertubes. If you're feeling fancy, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. You could feel fancy either with a mustache or if you hold your drink and you have a pinky out, I think. Probably. Anyway, welcome to our episode of Miracles Happen on Call Us Skeptical, the show where we are looking for views that disagree with our own, though we do love science-minded people, so atheists, agnostics, feel free to call in, though if you think the world is 6,000 years old, that evolution is a hoax, or that the world is flat, all three of those really equivalent, well then OG Willikers, you should call us right away. But yes, please don't forget to not only like, follow, subscribe, you can hit that bell icon to all, and that's how you actually get reminders for videos. YouTube has a two-way authentication thing. Anyway, you can also support the channel by sending in super thanks, and I will dance around and act kind of silly. We are kind of silly. And you can also send in super thanks in the future if you're watching this on the upload. Don't think we can travel in the past. It might be possible to travel to the future faster you get to the speed of light. But it doesn't seem possible to go back in time. Unless you are going back to the future and your hair is puffed out like this. And then I think you can. Anyway, yes, you can get channel membership with our evolving badge system. Anything that evolves just tends to trigger creationists, and that is because it explains something. And when you explain something, instead of just filling it in with God done it, it makes them angry. There's a lot of theists that can incorporate science, and I'm trying to say this nicely. Let's just say religion.
Debate on NDD last night. Of course, you gotta love the title. Which is more scientific, the Bible or the Quran? With those options,
that's like you're about to get a death sentence, and they're presenting which options, and you're just like, you know what? Dealer's choice. Anyway. That sounds like a fun debate.
You buy an elephant or fire you out of a cannon. Your choice.
But yeah, I always find it funny because the theists hate each other way more than they hate us. And I like it when they use us as a benchmark. Not even the atheists would. Oh. Yeah, we were summoning babies into volcanoes, but we wouldn't even do whatever they're saying here.
The Muslim kept pointing out to the Christian that Well, even the atheists say that the Quran is more accurate than the Bible. The Quran
That's my
corrected
favorite phrase, though.
some of the
We
mistakes.
get used as a benchmark.
And then, of course, the Christians like, oh, Kentucky atheist. I guess that's the ultimate arbiter of science. And if the atheists say the Quran is more scientific, then it must be. Yeah.
It's true.
I
We go to
don't think
a
the Quran is
specific
more
atheist every year. It's a different atheist. We don't know until the new year pops around. But that's how science works. That's why we believe in evolution. It's just been, every atheist so far has said evolution each year. Crazy. It makes too much sense. I just think it's funny that they view evolution like Pokemon. Like, I appreciate Pokemon. It's what I was raised on. But I didn't think that's what happened in the wild. Like, in nature. I feel like even as a child, I know it's a high benchmark, but like, even as a teenager, I was able to be like, yeah, I don't think that animals just start glowing after they kick the crap out of another animal and just slowly evolve into another animal. That's what they're looking for out in the wild. Not going to happen. Genes, populations over multiple successive generations. That's a fancy way of saying groups of people having sex over a long time. Or other ways. Lots of different selection pressures. Evolution, right. And also our Patreon at patreon.com. Oh, James got summoned by Satan. We actually share a timeshare in hell with the Satan. I always like to point out that you would think that it was Satan selling the timeshare. Satan got roped into it too. I continue to say it was the margaritas. It always gets us. Welcome back. And I forgot. First, before I send out the link, I will just send out a love. I see when you are able to hit that bell icon, I forgot to mention it lets us see you because you're here and I'm queer. I just love that rhymes with here. There's so many. Unif, what is up? Ember, what is up? Wilberforce, Scullery, davegar, sending so much love. Keep on sending love in chat. We'll keep on sending love to you. Or if you disagree with us, keep on sending whatever that the opposite of love. You think it's hate, but just keep on sending. And yes, with that, I'll do the Patreon. Send dominoes. Right. Patreon.com/Amy Newman. Oh my goodness. Just randomly into the universe. I do have to swim. Yes. With that, we will send love out to supporters out there, to all of us, like Rachel Holen. Thank you so much, reminding us that you should not own other people's property. It's a good thing to remind ourselves, unless they do so willingly, in which case that's kind of kinky. Thank you, Rachel. Sending so much love to Davegar, reminding us that the planet is round, thick. We're okay with a thick Earth.
like a pizza. Pancake.
Oh my goodness. I just want pictures of the ice wall, James. That's all I want. That's my favorite thing about the line about CGI and pictures and all that, is that's all they actually give. Is they're like, look at this thing I created of the ice wall. Look, Jon Snow's on top of it. Cool. Go get a picture.
You know, Amy, you can't get you can't go within 100 miles of there. The military will stop
that's
you.
right.
So you know that.
It's NASA's
the
military.
SEALs
They just
are
take you
there
right out.
at all times. Yeah.
It's true. Very specifically, Australianers who work for NASA. It's a worldwide conspiracy, because technically Australia doesn't exist. It is a subsidiary of NASA. If you didn't know this, watch a flat Earth debate or do bath salts. Either one, same result.
Get Elon more ketamine.
Exactly. The vast majority of them, unfortunately, religious. And I know religious are like, don't tie us to flat earthers. We only believe in the miracles that we're about to talk about tonight.
Oh, apparently Iron Horse said yesterday in chat, he said you have to do magic mushrooms to understand the flat earth.
You have to do magic mushrooms to
Yeah,
understand
you do
the flat
if you
earth.
do magic mushrooms, it'll make sense.
That means I haven't done enough magic mushrooms because I have at least taken.
You still don't get it.
But okay, that's true. Well, James, do you know what the key word is there? Do you know what I did take? A heroic dose. That's the word. The sending love to. They know who they are.
Yeah. One day when you have your ego death, you'll realize.
The funny thing about that claim is it's the most un-ego death statement to be like, well, that's not an ego death. You didn't take enough drugs. Yes, exactly.
It's like an ego flu. Your ego got the flu for a day. It didn't die.
Exactly. It was sick, but it had a recovery. It's all back. It's okay. Sending so much love out there. Also to Azo, reminding us we have a skeptic and ranted community, meaning we're just skeptical of our beliefs, offering alternative to religious communities because they unfortunately trap people because it's the only social groups available within the vicinity. But yes, not only that, sending so much love to Chris Disciple, reminding us we do have religious people in the skeptic and ranting community. We have theists and Muslims and Jews and Hindus and lots of pagans. Sending love to all of our fantastic skeptic and ranting community. A home as well for agnostics and atheists. And sending love to the two last but not least, sending love to Regos. It's on deck. Our skeptic Bible study, where we read the Bible. We're reading it cover to cover because there's really only two modes. I stand by this. There's either exposition, in which the Bible is putting you to sleep because it's listing lists, and you're like, wow, this is exciting. That's the word. How many?
Here's another group of people that never existed. Yep. Here's another group of people who also never existed.
And I was thinking about this today, and I know you brought this out. It just bothers me. It bothers me how much the pharaohs were not given names. They're just Pharaoh. The Pharaoh. Cool. I love it. Well, his mom named him Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. And not only did his mom name him Pharaoh, but the next Pharaoh after that one dies. James, remember what his name was?
Yeah, Pharaoh. I remember asking Donnie when on Standing for Truth, when they were trying to figure out, they're trying to piece together who the Pharaoh of the Bible was, Exodus. And it's kind of cruel of God. You guys have to do all this work to try to figure out who this could possibly be when all they had to do is give you a name. Just name the guy. Are they trying to protect him from embarrassment or?
But they had enough time. Remember,
the names have been redacted to protect the name. The names have been redacted to protect the innocent. We wouldn't want to embarrass the Pharaoh, so we'll just put generically Pharaoh.
Yes, we will, however, turn his heart to stone 5 times, because that's the other thing I get every time now that I bring up the Pharaoh's heart was turned to stone. They're like, well, God only did it once. God only violated his free will once. And I feel like gods get a freebie. They get one violation of free will 5 times. Fucking times.
Oh, well, UDEF, those names could be hard to remember, but the Bible will say, like, oh, let me tell my son-in-law, Abcdeig, his brother, Ramadam, and Dan, and my daughter's husband, Shamalam, a ding dong. Of course,
I was gonna say that for
all these people, you know, even if they did exist, they're so obscure you would never expect to be able to find anything. You couldn't prove they didn't exist. Like, oh, like some dude's random son-in-law is going to be, you're going to find him in a historical writing somewhere. No, you couldn't expect that. We get to somebody like the Pharaoh, who there would be written evidence of, there would be documentation of, you could actually verify it, and all of a sudden they don't want to name names. They don't want to tell you who it was. Well, because maybe if they did name a name, then they could line the things up in the Bible and say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. This didn't happen during the Pharaoh's reign. They weren't doing this at that time. Like, womp, womp, womp. Bible wrong. They're leaving enough information out that you can't falsify the story. Because you can spend endless conjecture.
I don't know if you knew this. The Bible claims that there was an Egypt, and there is in fact an Egypt.
There is. They did have a pharaoh.
There was a pharaoh in Egypt. That's true. I mean, James, now 2 things that the Bible said were true basically means that Jesus came back to life. I'm pretty sure. Probably.
The sea people, yeah. The Bronze Age collapse there, where they're still not exactly sure who these raiders were, where they came from.
Do you know what the funniest thing about them hating the Canaanites are? All that hate. Most likely, the Jews come from a version of the Canaanites. They are a breakoff of them, yes. And it just goes back, just to go full circle, to they hate each other more than they hate us in some weird way. Yeah, another example of that. Like, you want the Canaanite gods they're sacrificing babies to? James, if they were sacrificing their sons to a god, that would be barbaric and evil, and we should probably go to church on Sunday, right? So we can make sure that, praise be, that happened 2,000 years ago.
Well, I mean, once again, it's like the whole, what would Jesus do versus what would Jesus say versus what would God do? Because if you actually did what God would do, and you remember the whole genocide and the flood, that's all right because he's God. But if humans
that was
were to
his
do
teenage God years, you know what I mean?
If humans were to commit genocide, that would be bad, like Stalin or Mao or that would be wrong. But if God does it, it's okay.
Exactly, because he knows better than us. He has like 40 ways. And so, yes, sending love to Regos and our skeptic. Oh, I forgot the one other thing: exposition, and also lots of murder. Yes. Well, so those.
The thing with the Bible, Sandals, is you only need to find one thing wrong with it to prove that it's not inerrant, to prove that you can't use its inerrancy. Because that's what they tried to do. They're like, well, okay, yeah, some of this stuff we can't prove, but it gets everything that we can prove. It's 100% right, so we could trust it. We can have faith.
No, it doesn't.
And it's not blind faith, because we have a track record of the Bible always being right.
Adam and Eve did not exist. Factually. There is the lay science term of mitochondrial Eve, but that is a person of already existing humans coming from a long line of other existing humans. We know that Moses did not exist. We know that Noah did not exist. These people, at least, were not 600-year-old people that did and said what they did not have a snake battle out in the desert, nor did they talk to a burning bush unless he was smoking a lot of burning bushes. And the Noah story, like, I let all of it go because it was morality 2,000 years ago. They probably didn't know better. I'm not blaming them. I'm trying to shame the people who are still alive that think that drowning babies is a moral God. Now, once again, I know there are a lot of Jews, Christians, Muslims out there who are moral and believe in that story. And that's because, in my opinion, they retcon Sunday school. They, create their own version of the mythology that if it was that way and had that meaning, great. Unfortunately, it looks like one family surviving and everyone else drowning, which seems like a horror film.
But God had to kill the Nephilim. Remember, we had the Nephilim, the giants, and God had to get rid of those, even though they came back somehow. We're not exactly sure how,
First
but
of
they
all,
did come back.
Can we explain how silly the logistics of that are? Angel plus human equal giant. Not a half angel, not any sort of mixture or one or the other. It becomes a giant. How does that make sense? It doesn't.
Is it like a it's like a Tion? I believe it's the Tion that is the one that's just ginormous, like the tiger and lion hybrids. One of them is regular size, the other is just ginormous for whatever reason.
And also, why would the Nephilim even be evil? Once again, isn't that just kind of demonizing you for being born? You don't really have a choice.
Well, I mean, their fathers did something evil. They had sex with human women, which was forbidden.
Yeah. Once again, that keeps on being one of the deadliest sins.
So why did God give them penises if they're not supposed to have sex with women?
That is a very interesting point. So he's like, once again, we are going to continue having wings because, angels, but also, I mean, it's a guy. It's got to have a ding-dong, right? So.
Right. But you can't use it. No.
You know what that implies, though? That implies there are angels out there with smaller and larger ding-dongs. That implies there's a possibility that there's a woman out there that's looking. Oh, geez. That is looking at a woman. Or a woman is looking at an angel and going, okay, I have to take this. I'll be right back.
Angel's looking at a woman with a really big dick. And the angel wants to take it in the ass. How we doing this week, guys? Saw an interesting story this week on YouTube about pandemonium at a Catholic church in Florida, where a parishioner tried to, steal the communion wafers and got into a physical fight with the priest over these wafers, and she ended up getting bit by the priest fighting to not give her the wafers because they believe that it's the body of Jesus himself. Topic of the call-in is about miracles, and well, they believe that miracle happens every day in their churches when the bread becomes the body of Jesus, the wine becomes the blood, even though they generally don't let their parishioners have the wine. That's priests drink that, but they generally do the communion in one species, which is the bread. But that's enough. You get to eat the body of Jesus. You don't need the blood. Don't worry about that. But yeah, fighting over these communion wafers because the person had not been to confession, in a while, which you're supposed to do as a Catholic. So, yeah, fighting tooth and nail over the body of Jesus in church. How silly. Grown adults. Religion makes people this way. You never fight about something like that otherwise without religion. I thought that debate was kind of funny last night on Modern Day Debate over which is more scientific, the Bible or the Quran. Of course, neither of them are. Even the Muslim, a lot of the things he was trying to say that the Quran gets right, the Bible gets wrong. Not really. And one of them he said was, the Quran got alcohol right because alcohol is bad. Well, I mean, that's subjective. Of course, anything can be bad. Anything, out of moderation can be bad, but it's not inherently evil. Then talking about fig seeds. Yeah. Pretty much grasping at straws at that point. Of course, the Bible does get lots of things wrong. So does the Quran. Even though the Quran is several centuries newer, so maybe there's a few things in there that they learned along the way that we learned that we did not know when the Bible was written. But yeah, left-handed Jedi, good people do good things, bad people do bad things. It takes religion to have good people do terrible things. That's definitely one of the ways. What is it? The Milgram experiments where they tested to see if people under a perceived authority would be willing to torture and perhaps even kill, even put people at risk of death. And they found a lot of people would. Most people would in a situation where they believed an authority figure was telling them to do it. And God is the ultimate authority figure, right?
Yeah, that's right. God is the space daddy, the sky wizard. They hate all those, and then they're like, he's the heavenly father. And you're like, yeah, that's what I just said.
So, I mean, you could say, that they could say so. If I were to strap bombs to my vest and nails and ball bearings and go into a public place and blow myself up, well, if a good person gets killed, well, God, Allah will be able. They will know that that's a good person, and they'll go straight to heaven, right? But if they're a bad person, well, then they'll be judged. But why would I care about killing a bad person? They deserve to die. They're evil. They're out doing evil things. So it's kind of a win-win. If they're a good person, they go straight to heaven. Allah, God will reward them. If they're a bad person, then all the more better. We got rid of them, right?
It's like you're starting to just do the sorting process without waiting, James. Let's just figure out where they're going right now.
Kill them all. Let God sort them out.
Sending so much love. Thank you, April. What's up, Sandals? What's up, Fecknell, Left-Handed Jedi? Everyone out there. None of your biz. And also the last. What's up? The last, sending love to Ian Davenport, reminding us these apologetic arguments are really not that good, and it really is funny. That story is James. He had to defend God, and his mouth was on the defense. All right, he got that cracker back. He got that skin of Jesus. Any means possible. And But yes, sending so much love, Ian. And with that, we're going to
You're
open it
fighting
up.
for your God. You're fighting for salvation.
Dun, 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 dun. That's right. It is kind of weird to me. I know that they normalize everything, just like my Lord and Savior is like a very normal statement to them. But the fact that it is the body of Christ. I mean, hey, whatever you're into, though, we all got our things, James. Some of us eat the body of a dead 2,000-year-old rabbi. Do. Why does it have to
Well,
be
he's
a
still
rabbi?
fresh
It could
because
be
they
anybody.
reconjure him every day.
Wow.
So, it's not.
Yes.
It's not been sitting there rotting for 2,000 years.
But hey, at least the Catholics accept evolution and the Big Bang. So they all have their ups and downs, each one of them. In a weird way, the best is none of them. But yes, I'm not only going to set up and T joining on the panel, but I'm then going to tag it just in the Discords because I forgot to do that, and I want to send it into the other Discords just to see if we can get some theists. But this is going to be the time that if you disagree with us, come on and join us. If you disagree, you actually get priority. Even if you're an atheist or an agnostic or a skeptic, feel free to come on. But I'm going to clickety-clack. Boom. And put it there. And yeah, I will say, just while I'm sending it into the Discord, I know you were talking a little bit about recent subjects, but miracles are just such a funny thing because I believe in rare events because rare events happen all the time. I even believe in doctors making prognoses and ultimately our body being able to overcome them. Never in a supernatural way, but because we have an immune system oftentimes fighting for us.
But I mean, like look at the odds for Powerball, right? Like 1 out of 300 and some million, and would you believe it? Sometimes people actually win it. I mean, the odds are so. If that's like pick a number between 1 and 320 million. And you have to get the exact number, you lose. What are the odds of that? Well, 1 in 390 million, right?
But everyone
if we
gets
get millions and millions of people,
exactly,
and they all do it, sometimes one of them will get very, very lucky.
Because just statistically, there's going to be someone that is picked. That is why people play. It's just very, 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 very unlikely. What's up, Shane?
I mean, the odds of the universe being this finely tuned, it would be like taking all the grains of sand in all the beaches times 1 trillion and picking one grain out of it. Those are the odds that we could actually exist and be here.
And the odds are 1 out of 1. But is the universe full of is the universe full of galaxies and thus solar systems and thus planets that are capable of life? Yes. Does it seem like there are many out there? No. However, there may be pockets, there may be areas within galaxies that are more capable of life. There may be solar systems where within their habitable zone, all the planets have life on them. I could imagine that very easily. I could imagine life on Mars. Life even on Venus before it had the runaway effect that it has now. They often get angry at us when we bring up topics like panspermia as well, because it's always, they ask us, well, can you think of any natural way that a created life could have came? And I generally go, okay, that it is true that there could have been some sort of life from another planet that could have seeded this. I don't think that is exactly. Well, it could have either been exactly two ways. It could have been either artificially, as in truly, as in the movie type of they take sci-fi that they take something, or it could have just been an asteroid and there was life on Mars
materials,
and it fell over, yes, and got traded on Earth and then got kicked off. Once again, I think there are good reasons for why abiogenesis happened on Earth naturally. That is where the leading evidence is. However, if you disagree, please join the show. In fact, I'm going to keep it up there. I'm going to start to talk just about miracles because I think that a lot of them are very silly. And maybe that will, cause somebody to come on and say hi. We can start with the fact that the rib did not happen from Adam and Eve, the first miracle, because I guess we could technically ask how made Adam. That came out of dirt. Or if maybe we can get an explanation as to that. And then I'd like an explanation as to where rib women come from. And I'll also keep on being spicy because we're at least almost 40 minutes into the show, James. I can at least mention, something about the LGBTQ agenda. And that is... I said that I wanted to say my warning, and then I forgot what my main.
Trigger warning.
I'll just keep on going, and maybe that'll trigger me. But Adam and Eve, they trigger because they say we don't know about biology, or they say that we don't accept biology, and I always look at that and go, well, do you guys accept evolution? Do you think that we have common ancestry?
Calling the kettle black on that, huh? Don't you think?
I also think they do that purposefully. I think they do that because, they know they don't
the
accept
person who completely reject biology, am going to say that you don't accept biology.
Yes, it is a form of projection. And if you disagree, I will keep on saying, join the show. So Adam and Eve, we talked
That's
about
like the whole.
Well, and I guess
like
before I get off of... No, go.
Where God says there are no atheists.
God says
everybody knows. Because everybody knows. So, you don't believe God exists? Well, God just said you don't exist. There you go.
Well, I wish God would actually come down and tell us. That would at least be nice. Because
what
we could get into divine hiddenness.
Start existing.
But just to keep on going, before we even get off of Adam and Eve, I want to keep on pointing out that there was a talking snake. In the Torah, it is just a serpent. Okay? Because both these scenarios are funny. All right? It's a snake with legs. A talking snake with legs. Who wouldn't believe a talking snake with legs, though? And then with the New Testament, we have retconned it, and Islam, we have retconned it to be a Satan who is possessed the snake, I guess. But if he possessed the snake, why are we now penalizing all other snakes? That one snake got possessed, either by choice or just by accident, which would also be kind of a dick move by God. If the snake was just snaking around,
making a conscious choice.
James, we are talking about the Bible. But you're right. You're right.
I mean,
it would
they
seem
don't
a little
really have
weird.
Lots of high-level reasoning capabilities up there. They're not known for their high-level intelligence.
Did I mention that the snake had legs, though? That just kind of...
Okay. Okay. Maybe.
And so we have these two stories. Either one doesn't make sense, whether it's a snake with legs or whether it's Satan possessing a snake with legs. Both kind of silly, both kind of mean to all other snakes everywhere. Anyway, also childbirth is now painful. Kicked out. The snake told the truth. They didn't die. Just the story is all.
So have you heard
fucked
from
up.
the fundamentalist Christian women who they intentionally refuse all forms of pain medication during birth because the pain that they go through during birth is divinely given. God wants them to experience this pain. So to take morphine or whatever to ease that pain, that would be wrong because this is the curse that they're under. They have to own it. They have to own that pain.
I think that's a load of hogwash, but it makes about as much sense as everything else does in religion.
Hey, yeah, par for the course, right?
Okay, so we're moving forward. Moses, also completely bullshit. First of all, the baby down the river just so happens to get picked up by a queen. Okay, sure.
Called a miracle.
It's called a miracle. Yeah, that's basically all we get. It's a miracle. Yeah, that's what you say when you don't have evidence. But we continue forward.
I mean, almost like somebody being born of a virgin in a manger.
Oh, exactly. I mean, so that's way down the line. But yeah, I mean, the entire Jesus mythos is nothing but a bunch of things added on after his death. The virgin birth and him being God, and he was just a very different person if he actually existed, which is, I know what James is waiting for me to say. But prophets,
see, like we can see that Moses didn't exist. Like we have no problem saying that, admitting that, saying yeah, dude didn't exist. All of a sudden, when we get to Jesus, we can't draw those lines. We just have to assume he existed.
Sorry, I found my sword I was looking for. This allows me to pillage and take the women and children of my choosing as dictated within this book, as long as I also kill all the men. And so, as you can tell, it's objective morality. I think. Yes, probably. But James, those were just the laws of the Old Testament. Jesus came to fulfill those laws. Oh, so we throw out the 10 Commandments? No, I mean, hold on 1 second. But yes, we go through Moses, and he had the snake battle, and then people's hearts turning to stone, and we have all of these horrible like anti-miracles, where I guess they call them plagues. Honey, it's raining frogs. Well, we haven't been able to have food in a while, so maybe we should see this as more of a benefit.
I've got it. We'll have like grapefruit-sized hail fall from the sky, but it'll burn when it hits the ground. How about that? Yeah.
First of all, when you
explain
it like that, sounds badass. I understand when it's happening to your city, probably not so much, but for the VFX department, kind of cool. Just putting that out there. Anyway, continuing forward,
I want hail that burns. I want hail that's on fire. Fine.
Also, can I ask, do you think that the whose snake actually worked was the first biblical version of whose pee-pee was bigger? I feel like it ended up being Moses somehow. You know, I mean, it was written by them. So, you know. Anyway, so they get on to And then they drown. Oh, they kill the firstborn, as you do, because he's objectively moral. And they drown the guy who his heart was frozen a few times, as well as all the men chasing them, even though the Pharaoh had let the Jews go at this point. But you needed a third act, and so you kind of had
wasn't
to,
quite done.
once again.
He was having so much fun messing with the Pharaoh and the people
I
of Egypt,
know.
and he was okay. One more time.
But see, that's the thing about free will, James, is what's the point of giving people free will if you can't kind of arbitrarily just knock it away? You know what I mean? But yes,
I know. I'll create people with no moral compass and to be completely ignorant of just about everything. Then I'll let this super hyper intelligent guy that hates me go in and fuck with him, and then we'll see what happens. What could go wrong? And then I'll blame them. I'll blame them.
It's not the fault of
the guy who let this hyper intelligent evil being go in and trick them.
But can we just point out that God doesn't get anything right except for creation. Like, as long as there's no other agents, he does fine. But as soon as there's another agent, his gets messed up all over. Just pointing that out. Like, his track record, he doesn't have a great Yelp review, is all I'm trying to put out there. Anyway, continuing forward, there's Noah, someone who supposedly lived to the age of 600. That's why they have to defend annoying, silly, which is, in this case, I just have to add stupid, genetic entropy concepts to say that we're actually de-evolving and people used to live that long. Newsflash, PSA, no. This is not how it works.
969.
And the answer to that is also, no, he didn't.
Bullshit.
I wish, but no. I'm sorry, but people back then had a lower lifespan, not a higher one. We know this factually. But sure, no, they were living much longer before we had all of medical science.
You know what I saw in MDD, and this is, I don't think it was a debate, but now they're saying, like, oh, does Christianity even need to make sense? The fact that it doesn't make sense to us, is that a hurdle? Is that a barrier why we should not?
Christianity makes no sense. Now, I understand that people who were raised in it or even weren't raised in it but are now convinced in it, it becomes this intuition type of thing. However, it's just, it still gets me, just not to loop back to the early part of the episode, but the human sacrifice part. The fact that they look down on other religions and they call them barbaric for having human sacrifices, and then they worship a human sacrifice, and then the justification for it is, no, James, you don't get it. He was perfect. You don't know how good of a guy this was that we're about to kill. Oh, I didn't know he was a good guy. I mean, then throw him on the freaking pile. I thought he was a fucking schmuck.
This is the final sacrifice. We are going to kill Zap Rowstower for our sins.
Yes. Why did the 600
Your
years
Lord and Savior Zap Rowstower
based on counting system they do? I like the calendar guy. The calendar guy always gets me, because that is basically like, hey, you know, a bunch of people cleared out a good portion of the world with a sword until their system was dominant. Does that mean God exists? Probably. That really doesn't seem to be good evidence. But yes, yeah, it was before Christ, before we changed it to before Common Era. My favorite example of this to show that this isn't the way that it was forever and that this has been just a change system. And I forget who comedian. I speak English. I forget which comedian did this bit, but it's not like if you were walking around at Jesus's time and you were like, "Hey, what year was it?" They weren't like, "Oh, it's 0. Didn't you know? Oh, now it's 12 BC because Jesus is 12." No, they had different systems
What
of
was
time.
that? Was that I don't remember what show it was. Maybe it was like that dinosaur show from the mid '90s, but like
Barney?
no.
I'm just teasing.
With Earl, the tree pusher, and the baby.
Oh, who? Oh my goodness! Who kicks the baby? Or I know
Not
what
the mama. Not the
yeah,
mama.
no, I know who you're talking about. It's almost like
you remember.
God. That show passes that boundary where you're not sure if they look human or not. Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, kind of.
Sending love to Titan. That's right. First of all, we have to now mention it twice within an episode, the LGBTQ agenda. But yes, it is June. Happy Pride Month. I like to continue to put the smackdown that after Sodom and Gomorrah, sure, that was a setback for like a little bit, but then we came back and we stole that fucker's rainbow. And so I feel like we ended up... Rainbow. Yeah, supposedly after Sodom and Gomorrah, there was like a rainbow at the end of it. And so...
That was the flood. Yeah, I remember the flood.
Oh, really? It's the flood? Well, either way, let me tell you, he might have gotten us, all right? One battle. But we eventually came around, James, and stole it. And now it's ours. And he could have it back if he'd like. He just has to come down here and wave his big schlong. Either Titan or God. One or the other. Who are we talking about? Sending love to everyone. I saw Beamsy said, they are so biblical. Why are they never keen to send me their daughters? And I have 30 shekels. My goodness, you're paying market value as set by the Bible, and they're never being sent your way. That is a shame, Beamsy. And once again, I want to point out, this is an objectively moral system. That is what they tell us. And so, even if you have to go like 31 or 32 shekels, I feel like you're being a bench.
Well, I mean, I would say Beamsy should just then go to the nations around him and take them. But being Australia, they're kind of don't border with any other nations. So, island. Guess maybe
I want to know if New Zealand is in on the conspiracy. Yeah. They're not too far away, you know. Are they also? I know. I assume they have already been subsumed by NASA. NASA has been taking in more and more territory as the years go on, I think. Probably. I like the fact that flat earthers have a nemesis in NASA because they are the most unpolitical government agency we have in this country. It's the one where you could just sell logos on it at both Target and Walmart and no one really gives a shit. And I like that somehow this is a deep-seated agency that has controlled most of the southern hemisphere of the planet.
I mean, they get like a whopping 0.6% of the federal budget. So, I mean,
but they spread it out so well, James. Apparently, globally. I would say around the world, but we all know that's not true. Ha 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 ha. Oh my goodness. I'm kidding to you. That's love me. Soros, he keeps me on a short leash, and so I also want to keep on saying that 7-Eleven now is a part-time job. 7-Eleven used to be anyway. Now it's a full-time job. It's sad. Good job, though. Pay attention. I love that conspiracy.
Gotta work 40 hours.
Jet fuel melts.
It's a gateway.
Hot dogs.
It's a gateway.
It's a gateway.
9/11.
I also find the conspiracy theorists, they're like Pringles. They never just have one. Like, it's like if they got one, they got like 2 or 3 or 4. Some of them collect them all, and you're like, whoa, you're gonna get diabetes. Please just slow down. I think something in the water has turned the frogs to your brain a little bit. That's another one of my favorite. They're turning the. We should be careful with the flat earthers. One day we might push them over the edge.
They're turning the gays gay.
It's not only that they're turning the gays gay, James. They make dick so yummy. And that's the real problem. I feel like if they would stop doing that, I think it's... And by the way, I drink water and I have Big D. And so, like, there has to be a...
But, Amy, you know
Once
very
again,
well
TOS,
that...
I love you.
Amy, you know very well, okay, that this is not voluntary. You see, these people, they get these worms that inhabit their anus.
Oh,
their
I forgot.
They inhabit their stomach and their anus, and they only eat sperm. And so that's why they have to guzzle so much cum to keep these worms in their stomach
Can I tell you, James, what's terrible is that one of my friends got infected with the cordyceps virus. And it turns out that after a heavy mutation, I had to bring them across the country because they actually may be the cure for being gay. Wait, no, that was just The Last of Us and me writing fan fiction. Never mind. Anyway,
I thought you were going to tie that into your Nation of Angels, which, by the way, probably has been put on the back burner.
The fact I know I've been working on it slowly, but it has been. It is funny that I take at least as much credit. I've been obsessed with the cordyceps virus long before The Last of Us, just because there are few mind control like organisms and pathologies out there. I like the things that can control ants. I like the things that can they're just so fascinating. They can't actually transfer over here. There are medicinal purposes for cordyceps virus. I don't know if I'd be able to take it. I really don't. Like, I don't know. Though I feel like I guess I could get over it because that's kind of superstitious, right? If I can't take it. Though it's just my goodness. I will start singing. Na 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 na. I don't actually. I know. Hold up.
She'll do it.
Can I tell you what I thought about doing, James? And I might do it. You just said it. I may do a stream. Okay, you don't have to join me, but I think I am gonna do it. All right. It is gonna be a karaoke stream, and it's gonna be entirely Nickelback, and I'm gonna do like an. And for me and the 2 other people that have it on because they forgot their browser was open, it's going to be a great time. I want you to know that. I'm going to do it as a joke and a serious, and then cry a little bit and pretend that it's a joke.
Can you sing Nickelback karaoke with something in your backside? That'll be the test. And see how that makes affects your.
What are you, Rachel?
Yes.
Because let me tell you, for someone who hasn't been on here many times, that does sound like something she'd say.
That sounds like Rachel.
That does. And thus the answer is probably yes. But let's see how much the super chats come in for that.
Thank you, Dave. I can sympathize, Dave.
Listen, okay? Listen. I still love you, Dave. And I'm telling you,
Crossed
the other thing I may have crossed the line. Can I tell you the other thing that I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the songs I think people don't know. I'm not gonna sing How You Remind Me and all that. I'm gonna sing the stuff. I'm gonna sing songs like This Is War and Home and Feed the Machine and other songs that nobody probably knows and are actually badass. I'm gonna show you they're badass. If you disagree, you could also join. Anyway, the lines are open.
I may sing Rod Stewart songs if that makes you feel better.
I'm okay with this. But for theists or people who believe evolution is wrong, or the Earth is flat, or that, once again, I will actually explain to you why 9/11 happened. And why the people who did it were like, no, we did it. Why are you trying to take? Excuse me, we put that up on our goal board, on our wish board. Why are you trying to take credit from us?
Do you mean to tell me a couple guys in some caves planned all that?
Yes.
In Afghanistan.
And the funniest thing about that sort of claim is Osama bin Laden was not a stupid man. He was a well-educated, wealthy man. He came from the wealthy bin Laden family that has a fantastic amount of assets. Yes. And so he what happened is religion, the Western education and all that stuff, and probably the fact that he grew up with many a TV and probably everything that he wanted. It's religion. This is what happens. It makes good people who are good. Yeah. Bad people are bad, unfortunately. But good people who do bad, religion. I need to check out this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you, never gonna make you cry. I'm sending them into chat.
If evolution is true, why am I? Yeah. Check. Like Amy, they say that the English came over here and made these colonies, but why are there still English? Why is there still British people over there?
It is sad there are people that really do ask that in a non-joking way, and they probably listen to Ken Hoven. That or it's Ken Hoven's defense lawyer.
But early humans ate Australopiths. Well, were they kosher? Are Australopiths kosher? Were they?
They had them with matzo balls. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, what is this? Donnie and Erica was in chat, and they were trying to say that maybe Noah was Homo Heidelbergensis. maybe he's which version of Homo these biblical patriarchs were.
I could explain which version of Homo am I. About halfway between.
Yeah.
I ask myself which way is straight and which way is gay, and I go every way. Feels good to be back on, James. Do you know how much I missed this? Sending love to everybody. Sending love to Robin. And I swear the theists are just afraid to come on, though we're just going to talk crap more about miracles if they don't come on. So we are getting past. I'm trying to think of other silly things where they were in the Torah, the Old Testament. That was his maiden name.
Remember the was it the Psalm, the donkey that we got to, and
talking donkeys.
Because of course there's an angel standing in front of him that the donkey can't pass, and the donkey can see the angel, but the person can't. So the guy is like, "What the fuck are you doing, donkey? Go!"
But can we just appreciate the fact that if there was a question that said, this animal is both within the Shrek universe and the Bible, we could say a donkey and still be correct. I like to Just think about that when I go to bed.
And of course, so he's hitting the donkey with a stick to try to get him to move forward. Okay. Of course, so the donkey turns around and says, "Why are you smiting me? I can't go forward.
Why are you
Can't
being
you see?"
such an ass?
Yeah. There's a angel
leave
standing
now.
in front of me. Why are you smiting me with that stick? I can't move. It's not my fault. Yeah, Eddie Murphy, Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed comes to life in the Bible.
Kind of weird. But once again, just to take a pot shot, I guess we're eventually going to talk. We'll eventually get to Islam. So many weird miracles that didn't happen. But talking ants, just a preview. But so we move through that. We have donkeys.
But Muhammad said to wash your hands 5 times a day. That was part of the debate. That, the Quran is better because Jesus says not to wash your hands, but Muhammad said to wash your hands.
He didn't know anything about germs. There is no evidence. Can I also point out, this is the wonderful thing I have learned about the Quran, doing a little bit of research. It was originally oral. Just like, there were rabbis that had the oral tradition before the Second Temple. And then they created the rabbi tradition because they thought their temple was going to be destroyed. The very specific rabbi in Islam is Muhammad. As in, he just had it in his head. And he just said it over and over and over. Yes. Now, they will say it was the angel Gabriel. But who it actually seems to be is Abcdeig, who was one of his scribes and who wrote it down. Gabriel. Listen, I am willing to have sex with an angel, even if we end up having a giant baby. I know that I technically don't have the equipment. However, to every angel out there, I'm willing to try. I mean, come on. Miracles happen, right? At least that's the name of the title.
Just be another miracle, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Wash your hands, therefore, God.
I do like talking about angels in my story. I do like having them because no one talks about them in just like a very naturalistic sense. My angels scratch their butt. They're just so fantastically human.
Because Shane, like if you've been shoveling cow shit all day and you go to eat, you might not want your food to smell like cow shit. So maybe it'd be good idea to wash your hands before you eat. I don't know.
They also are always like, well, how did they know that? And insert here. And it's like, because that has been developing as an idea for thousands of years. Like, you didn't think we were going to figure that out except for that one book? Like, we got a book called The Germ Theory. Well, not a book, but we had eventually discoveries. And then within our books, we have the germ theory of disease. A little bit more helpful than the Quran or the Bible.
Well, it's like morality. Like, how would we ever have come to the conclusion that stealing is bad without the Bible? Tell us not to steal.
We wouldn't. There's no other way. It had to be from an almighty, all-present God.
Because, I mean, you work hard for your things, for, what you have, and it would kind of be a dick move for somebody else to come and just take what you worked for, right? So you wouldn't want to do that to somebody else, so maybe they shouldn't do it to you. Humans couldn't figure that out, so we needed God to tell us.
James, the only way you know that is because of the Christian, Jewish, Muslim society that you were raised in. There's no other way that you could figure out stealing someone else's stuff was a bad idea.
It's bad.
It's the only way. But sending love. They need some love. Sending love to native atheists.
Native atheists.
Need some love. Need some love.
Well, Shane, that'll be in the members only video. Amy, I'll have to
How do you
describe
have
that.
sex with a burning wheel covered in eyeballs? Oh my! Now there's a weekend.
Because that is an actual description from the Bible of a celestial being. So
I always see some weird images when they're like, this is what an actual angel looks like. I'm like, and that had sex with a woman? And still, I want you to, I just want to point out, eyeball monster plus human. How does that equal giant? The logic is never going to make sense. I'm sorry. It's just a guy who picked it and made that thousands of years ago, and now they're stuck with it.
What is that? The seraphim who have 3 pairs of wings. They use two wings to fly, the others to cover up their naughty parts.
That is a waste of wings. That is such a...
Got 1 set of wings just to cover up the junk.
I mean, tantalizing and yet so unuseful. Oh my! Just you can't see him. Flappy, flappy. All right. Anyway, sending so much, Native Atheist. We are sending you so much love. You sent us love, and
what these angels do, all they do all day, is they fly over the throne of God in heaven and shout, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole world is full of His glory." That's all they do.
I thought they were just going to
doing that for thousands of years. They're doing it today. A trillion years from now, they'll still be doing it. Even though the world, quote, won't exist anymore, they'll still be saying the whole earth is full of His glory.
Oh my God, Ember, absolutely. Reminds me, Amy, can we get you to do a dance for the transposition? Yes, you most certainly can. I will say, anytime someone wants me, just send love for dancing. I'm trying to think of a send love to the Sinister Porpoise $2 super chat. Count. Lesser than not parentheses, quotation mark, like, comment, subscribers. And then she is ending, as you should end all your cases, end L. And then, of course, if you forget your semicolon, everything is going to break. So just a reminder out there.
Less than Brett Keene's IQ.
That boy makes me so conflicted. Like, one day he's hanging out with the Satanists. The other, he's trying to point out that he is technically God TV radio, even though it's not God TV radio anymore. I don't know anymore. He had a conversation with AI yesterday. You might be interested in that, Sinister. He's basically talking to a chatbot. And
it's funny. You can actually get some useful information from him.
No, I will say, Sinister, I most certainly do not know C++. The closest I could even claim to that is the variant C#. And even then, that's adjusting through it from JavaScript I used when I was in Unity. But sending so much love. C++ is like the king and queen of programming languages. And one day, I would like to learn it. I will say. I like my web developer languages and my and databasing, which tends to be fun because I like spreadsheets for no reason, as long as the data is already relevant and you don't have to go collect it.
At least will, but I don't want to. Basic logic.
Yes, I think that he's going to have a tough time convincing the chatbots, to be honest with you, because if they get good relevant data, a lot of times they can be wrong. They can, if they get bad information from humans over time, they're going to give bad answers back. But if the aggregated data is good, then they have a higher chance of giving good data back. Same applies kind of Wikipedia.
It's funny because I've caught chatbots like perpetuating like known myths, and then you call it out like, hey, that's actually not true, and they're like, oh yes, actually you're correct. Yeah, what I just said before was bullshit. It's like, yeah, you know better, but you're just perpetuating something that you think people want to hear, or sometimes they just make shit up. Like it's almost like they get flustered. Like if you keep pressing them, eventually a lot of times they'll just make something up, and then you like search for it, and you won't find anything anywhere. Like, did that actually happen? They're like, no, that was just an example. Like, oh, but you said that actually happened. Now you're telling me you're full of shit.
Or they hedge. They're like, yeah, Moses actually just walked over a low tide. You're like, then what's the miracle? He got his feet wet, but not his whole outfit? Wow.
But the tip of his schlong was not wet.
That's right. Not until he got in the desert and realized that he was going to be walking with the same people for 40 years.
I had a Christian actually chide me for like, oh, you use AI to answer theological questions. I say I use AI to examine positions, to get information, to hear different perspectives. Okay, I realize its limitations, but it can actually be a valuable tool if you know how to use it the right way. The thing with like AI is it doesn't. Yeah, I see it in the back. It's not afraid of sounding stupid. It's not afraid of hurting anybody's feelings or
because
the ramifications
right now,
of the answer. Because like,
so far as we can tell, they don't care. Sorry.
If you're a professor and one of your students might be a little concerned about the ramifications of calling you out on something you say, like, oh, if I make this guy look like an idiot, how does that affect my grade? Or is he not going to like me? Or am I just going to look stupid? Is he going to destroy it? Yeah. You might be a little hesitant to make certain. AI will just do it. It'll just tell you the things that the possible pitfalls in your position, the possible things that you may be getting wrong. So
yeah, it doesn't, as far as we can tell so far, it does not have emotions, and so it's really just spitting out answers that it gets through its either AI language model, or through an algorithm, or through a variety of ways that we can try and get inputs and outputs. I'd be interested to see one day if we ever have, a artificial sentience. But right now, yeah.
It is kind of useful. Like there have been things that like in the past that I had searched for like in Google and search engines for like hours and never been able to find, never been able to like track down. And then AI will just spit it out, and it might not be like the full answer, but at least it'll point you in the right direction. Its ability to assimilate and analyze information is quite useful.
Sorry, I just see some. Sending so much love out there. I'm sorry, I saw something that caught my eye. So we are sending so much love to everybody out there. I'm going to send it again as well. And I want to ask, none of you, are you asking to... You are a theist? Do you want us to bring you on? I know he can hear us behind stage. I know you guys. Well, technically, we can't hear him either, but I can see him in the chat box. I'll send one more out there as well. Even if you want to join us in queue, if you do believe in miracles, please call into the show. Click onto the show, even. Boo doop a doop. We'll wait till we get that. Either way, I'm kind of interested now. If you're a theist, I'm interested about talking to you. If you believe in miracles, do you believe in miracles? If you believe in miracles, I'm interested. If not, and you think there's something, I'm not sure what. Like, I can't tell if it's. Hell yeah, you do? Oh, okay. James? And what's up to Freak? Yo, yo, yo,
Ready.
yo. All right, our bodies are ready. Let's do it to it. We are going to bring none of your business on. And we are calling us skeptical when miracles happen. What's up, none of your business?
Love to Amy Newman, my favorite humorist. I don't want to say comedian. What was Mark Twain? My favorite. What's up, James? Good to see you.
Hey, Dunya.
I just want to say that flattery gets you everywhere. That's another PS thing. It's just
Yeah.
But how are you, none of you? And we are talking about miracles happening. And what are your thoughts?
Well, I am theist. Specifically, probably my best title would be Hebrew roots. Yeah, but totally. What miracle? What's wrong with? You never seen a miracle? Haven't you ever looked at a tree? It gives oxygen. Don't you like inhale oxygen? It's a good comfort zone. Do you mean something like anti-physics miracle? Yeah, I've seen miracles like that. Yeah, for sure.
I just want to point out we have a tree emoji, a look at the tree emoji on this channel. You just made me so happy in like a subtle way. I'm sorry. That was not laughing. That was coughing.
I saw that. It's fine. Karma.
But I like trees, and I think they're amazing, and I think that we would not be around without them. However, I don't think that they're evidence of a god. If anything, trees have really shaped our planet, and so it's just that we're kind of a repercussion of them dominating, and there being this like oxidizing event that killed a lot of life. And now only the oxygen breathing organisms are existing up here.
Yeah, in the theist community, that we would speak of a tree as a miracle, but I know what you're looking for. You're looking for something that like defies physics and quite honestly, I don't want to. What did the Catholics have with Mary in like 1910? Three little girls. Say it again. Fatima. Yes. She came, and the girls kept coming into town saying that they saw Mary, and finally, after I don't know how long, years or months or something, the whole town went out there to say, hey, let's see it. And they waited and waited and waited, and then all they saw was like the sun dance around the sky. That to me is like, even as a theist, even back in the day as a Catholic, I kind of thought that was dumb. No offense to those guys, but yeah, I'm sure you're looking for a real, I don't know, the guy really was in a wheelchair and got up and walked or something. Yeah, I do believe in that, of course.
That can't happen. Not just something that's unlikely.
Yeah, like a crack in the darkness, a tear in the sky. Yeah, exactly.
And can I ask if you have an example of that?
Me personally, yeah. I was sick, probably 2007. Called on the name of the Lord. To me, it would be Jesus. At that time, he was like, I don't know if he was the father. You know what I mean? I had no differentiation. Anyway, I called on the name of Jesus. He came,
It's
and
okay. Though when I replace father with daddy, don't get angry with me.
Dada. Remember the pastor who called him Dada?
I sure do.
yeah, but if you whisper that in my ear, I'll have to pay extra. So we'll just skip over that part.
Oh, I like where this is going already.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I called on the name of the Lord, and he came, and it was, I was like looking down, and I could just see that there was a dark figure next to me, like when you know somebody's there.
First of all, those past two sentences have been fantastic. Once again, it sounds like a weekend at my house, but that's fine. We can keep on going.
Yeah, I've been on the outside watching what goes on in your house on the weekends on the inside. You may not know, but yeah, I've been watching. No, don't put that on the record. Put that
And video recording.
Your Honor.
I'll get stalker, whatever you call that. No, that's not true. I have no idea where you live or anything. But no, I called on. He came, and I saw somebody, and since he came, I didn't.
It keeps being hot.
Well, I didn't want to be one of those people that like saw Jesus. Oh, I saw Jesus. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Was he blonde hair, blue eyed? Yes, he was. And he was walking with my dead mother, and they said everything's gonna. No, I don't want that. So when I called on his name and like he came, I jumped up and rebuked him. I'm like, no, I don't want this. SHIT. Literally, I said that. That's like yelling.
Bad Jesus, bad.
Bad Jesus, what are you doing visiting me after I called on you? Oh my God. So anyway, as I jumped up, I noticed that this dark figure next to me wasn't really like somebody there. It was a blackness in the shape of like a cartoon character runs through a wall and he leaves that shape in the wall. That was the shape
like
of blackness. Right, a hole. And there was this black. It was a black shape of like somebody wearing like a monk in a long robe. It was that. It could have been anything. But as I jumped up and rebuked it, I saw that this blackness was. I could see stars and like constellations and stuff. It was like outer space to me. This whatever was there in this shape was going to. Because I seen the bottom of this robe come out, this light blue. And it was like somebody, like your robe is going to come out before your foot. As you go to take a step forward, you kind of lean forward and your robe comes out. It's like this person was going to come into my reality. But no, I consider that a miracle. But what? Do I have witnesses? No. So what good is that?
When was this happening again?
Oh, 2007 probably.
And you were just sitting at home. You said you were sick at the time, and you called on him, and this evil figure comes out.
Yeah, and I was praying for a sign. I didn't really say, "Hey, Jesus, come to me." I was scared that it was going to be not like death, like I was going to die. It was I was praying for a sign, and yes, he came. I think it was him standing next to me, but as this robe came out of this darkness, as I jumped, it happened in a millisecond. But anyway, I said, no, I don't want this shit. And it immediately left, but I saw that darkness. And as it left, there was a thundering in my ears, like very loud from outside of my body, like when you hear somebody yelling in your ears. But it was also like inside my head, not like a thought, but it was like so loud. It was like
ringing.
No. It was definitely a voice, and it said, "Give us back our Sabbath." So as a Catholic, well, like an ex-Catholic, as a Trinitarian back then, I took that to mean like from the Sunday Sabbath to the Saturday Sabbath, and I started looking into the Old Testament. As a good Christian, we don't read the Old Testament. That's poo. It's like that's science. Ezekiel is science.
But I have to ask. Okay, because we were looking at constellations, and there is this dark figure that you had blue underneath. But how did you get better? And was it God or the evil figure that made it better?
From the sickness. Yeah, good question. So no, I immediately went to the emergency room, and it was acute bronchitis. And as a lover of math, I always knew acute meant small. So it's like I had a small case of bronchitis. It's like, no, in medical field, acute means serious, regardless. When I left, they gave me meds or something. As I left the emergency room, they gave me 3 pieces of paper, and it had my name, my birthday at the top, my name, my birthday, and my age. And I thought that was stupid. Like, why would you have to put an age? And then I thought to myself, oh, so the doctor doesn't have to do any math. When he looks at your chart, he can just say, oh, 47-year-old male, you know. But anyway, the age was wrong. I'm like, the age is a year off. These guys are idiots. Oh my God, I hate doctors, whatever. And so I did the math real quick, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a year younger. So maybe I was just like.
So wait, the doctors were right?
Correct. I even called. I got in a panic. I called my mom. I go, Mom, what? I'm like, 11:20. Well, I gave the whatever. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. And so no, it simply could have been like, hey, you know, because old people, we forget the number, you know. And
I mean, I can only say so much because I did, 30 between my 32 and 33s. It was a little shady between which year, but I am
like, wait,
I guess
am I 33 or 34? Like, hey, what happened?
But I'm tracking the story so far. But you had bronchitis, and we went to the ER, and we had this mix-up. But I guess my question to you, and maybe there's more to the story, but after listening to this is, was it the doctors? And could it have just been the bronchitis and your body being sick that this all happened?
Oh, no, that's kind of 2 things. I didn't really ask for a healing. I was looking more of for a sign that everything was, I don't know, going to be okay, or I wasn't going to die. I don't know. I didn't have a fear of death. I don't know. But I wasn't looking for a cure. But yes, number 2. So I think it was the doctors cured it. But number 2, what was the second part of that question? How did you word that? It was interesting.
Well, it's not just did they cure it, but couldn't have just been that you were sick and that you had either a hallucination or a vision because of the sickness. That's a totally, I would think, rational reason for having that, absolutely. Even though it felt real.
Absolutely. 100% has to be dealt with. It's not like you brush that off. You have to look at that. I've seen too many men go to Jerusalem because they have, I think it's called Jerusalem syndrome, or anyway, I got to go to Jerusalem and cure the world. They don't know about Jesus. And they go over there and they're like, oh, wow, it's different than I thought. So yeah, that has to be taken. And I immediately think of that. And I'm like, I was sick. What? This is stupid. No, I didn't see anything. And I even thought immediately after it happened, I thought, wow, this is gonna, I'm not gonna believe that. I myself am not gonna believe this. You know what? So that has to be a consideration, yes. But I don't believe I am. What is it where you believe in the Bible? Cognitively dissident.
If you're having cognitive dissonance, you're kind of believing one thing and the opposite thing are true at the same time.
Right. I do take that into account. Hey, what if it's, a billionth of a percent? What if it's 10%? What if it's 90% fake? Yeah, I took that into consideration, but there's really no videotape to jump back to. There's no second witness that can say, oh, no, I was there, Mike, and I heard, I heard this, and no, so it's all on me. There's nothing.
And so while I can appreciate that, because I've had situations more on hallucinogens where things like that happen, but I know the brain is just a very vital thing. And so I'm trying to think how I should word this, because you seem like such a nice person, Nania, and I don't want to hassle you too much for being so nice.
No,
what is it that then I have to keep on going? I can't help myself. Then what is it that makes you in the it really did happen. Because I think if something like that happened to me, I would not know. I would say, okay, this is one data point, and my goodness, that felt really real. But after a certain while, it has to have been a little while now. What keeps you in the this definitely happened camp?
The age on the emergency room thing. Hey, I just missed a car wreck. Wow. Was that God or was that not? And then you park and the Burger King guy says, you know, hey man, I was told you were supposed to miss a car wreck today. Has that happened to you yet? You know, that it was like two different times and space, whatever.
Two different times someone told you were supposed to die?
No. I was trying to give an example. So that happened, and then I went to the emergency room, and the age thing happened. So two different things happened. So the first one happens, and you're like, wow, but it's not like finding your car keys. Oh, did I pray to Saint Joseph, the patron saint of lost things? And then I
James
found
knows that's the only thing I've ever prayed for. I got my car keys, and every theist always asks. They're like, "Well, did you find your car keys?" I did indeed. However, I'm still not giving the credit to God.
Exactly. Who do you give the credit to? Like, oh, I would have found them at that exact same time, or I just coincidentally prayed to Saint Joseph. So yeah, that's all considerations. But because since it was so, I don't know, goofy to me,
But
I asked
my
for it. And it
thing,
came.
work out this age thing with me though for just 1 second, because you got it. I'm sympathetic to aging and having a year wrong, but then how is that proof that the vision happened and just our memories aren't a little bit fudgeable?
Oh, I took it as a like both are would have to be miracles if true. The first one is like a miracle definite, but hey, maybe it wasn't, maybe you were sick. The second one is like miracle definite true. No, maybe Mike, you just forgot. You know, it was 4 months. 4 months after my birthday, it's another year. So it is very easy to get the year wrong, the age, the number wrong. My birthday in November makes it very easy. Like this is 2024. No, I'm not there yet. I've got a long way to go before I am. If you take 2024 minus my birthday, yeah, but no, together. So I'm just saying together, it's a click.
Yeah. Do you know what would sell it better for me? And once again, you can't change your lived experience, and we would have no more evidence for this being true. But it's not like the dark figure healed you, or Jesus healed you.
No, not at all. No, I didn't ask for a healing or no.
It was science.
Yeah.
And then it is hard for me to come on board, but I like it. Do you have? I'll let you finish off that story if you like, and then maybe another point if you want.
No, I'm good. The when he left, and that thundering voice screamed those 5 words, "Give us back our Sabbath." I had a picture in my mind of me standing at a podium, but like, not like giving a speech, but like I'm in the audience, but nobody's in the audience.
Can I ask, what if they were really angry at Black Sabbath, and they're like, "You're just way cooler than taking Saturdays off, and we want you guys to stop touring so that it can only be Saturdays."
I thought you meant October 7th. I am so sorry. I lost you at the.
I specifically mean that they want Ozzy Osbourne to continue to tour, and that is what they were telling you. They wanted them.
All your Sabbath are belong to us.
Yes.
Oh, right. So at the time, 2007-ish, I took that to mean like get the whole Sunday to Saturday. Within the theist community, yeah, there's a battle over when the Sabbath is. I'm sure you guys know. So that's what
I know. Muslims want Friday,
battle about
Jews want
everything.
Saturday, and the Christians want Sunday, and the
Right.
secular people take the whole weekend off. It's fantastic.
But the law of the land gives it to the pagans. They give every day to the pagans. When the Supreme Court ruled that freedom from religion is on par of freedom of religion, no day of the week is a Sabbath, and that's what the pagans believe. So the pagans have established a religion.
Not
You
by
can't do
law.
that. Yes, by
You
law,
don't
by
have to
saying
have
that
it enforced by law, but you can practice whatever Sabbath you want. You just can't force other people to do it.
And that also
exactly.
sounds
So-
more like an atheist thing. I love my pagan friends, and maybe they don't have a Sabbath. So cool. But I'll tell you
Right.
someone else who does not have a Sabbath, James and myself.
Right. So you guys have every day of the week per
Only
the Supreme
religion
Court
could
rule.
take. Only religion could take like a simple concept of a day off, which sounds very benign and it sounds good, wholesome, and just turn it into this absolute nightmare with all these restrictions and limitations.
Oh yeah, it's a feast.
All these
It's a
hoops that
party.
you have to jump through. Yeah, you're taking something that sounds good and then just making it horrible.
Yeah,
Well,
don't
Now it's
kindle a
something in the
fire.
Bible we have to kill people for picking up sticks on this day. Like,
Yeah, and don't kindle a fire. Don't start your car. Don't turn on your light. Don't take your kid to Little League. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. Oh my God, I'd pee over it every time I hear it. I just die laughing. It's a party. It's a
And
good
can I ask you, none of your business?
Oh yeah.
Do you keep a Sabbath?
Yes.
What day?
Well, sunset to Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. So I guess it would be Saturday.
You're taking the Jewish one. That's the one to go. The Torah version.
The Torah version. Thank you for specifying.
I both understand you, and yet
Oh, so
I still
I'm
think
sorry.
James and myself are a little skeptical.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt. Let me just finish real quick.
By all means.
So yes, I took that to mean the whole Saturday to Sunday thing, and I started giving some thought to the Old Testament and reading it and understanding it, and subsequently became Hebrew roots, written Torah observant folk like myself. Wonderful. Everything's all hip, slick, and cool. So I start looking at what the Catholics call the Passion Week of Jesus, a Sunday, a Palm Sunday, and then a week later, a Sunday resurrection.
Before you go forward, can I ask, did you consider yourself Jewish at this point?
No, oh my gosh. It's we equate Jewish with Judaism because once you get into the Hebrew roots, good Christians come in there and say, "What are you trying to be Jewish?" And we're like, "Hey, no Jews in here."
Oh, we're atheists, so I won't know true Scotsman. Every time someone says we're we're real Jew. But yes,
they are the actual real Jews that you don't understand.
Well, I guess that's why we jump all the way to the Hebrew part. It's the Jews from Judah. That's like long after Abraham. We're going all the way back to Abraham.
Do you know how every state says they have the best hamburger? That's the same way we. Well, who gets to really mark out who has the best
hot dog, the best pizza?
Right. The real Jews.
Which God is better? This God we found out is false because we know that copper comes out of the earth. So this God is greater.
Well, and it's not just copper. Can I tell you, iron? If you want to take down Yahweh, you just got to get some chariots of iron, and that guy just runs away. Apparently,
I love your perspective on that. How our God is nothing but another God that throughout the years has beaten other gods. That is a beautiful perspective. I mean, no, I completely disagree and such, but no, that's a beautiful way of putting it.
So you
actually he couldn't beat the other gods, so then he resorted to saying, okay, actually they don't even exist anymore. I'm the only God because people.
He
can't
made
get
it his first commandment, which is like, my goodness, you're not even going to put murder. You got to go with, all right.
Kind of selfish there. What's going on? Come on.
But he said his name was Jealous, so it's in character.
That's terrible. Okay, let me finish real quick, and you can
Yes,
move on.
by all means.
Okay, so we think it's I took that to mean the whole Sabbath Sunday to Saturday thing, getting to the Hebrew roots. I'm looking at the Passion Week. We got one guy saying one donkey, another guy saying two donkeys. We got Matthew quoting.
Not to interrupt you, but out of context, fantastic sentences. Continue.
So I copy paste, printed, put together landscape view 38 font, taped together, and made a vertical scroll of each gospel author's account of that Passion Week, and they don't align at the three donkeys, at the donkey, the single donkey ride. They all align at when the Pharisees.
You're doing our work for us. When you
At
say
what
it like
authority?
that, I love you.
So it turns out this Passion Week of Jesus was on one day was the Sabbath, and Mark and Luke record him riding on a wild donkey. 2 days later, Matthew records him going into Bethany on the colt that the mother and the colt that the two brought. And then 5 days after that is his Jerusalem entry on a donkey that he had found that John records. And
Can I interrupt you again?
Oh, I was just about to finish.
Oh, okay, finish. Continue.
So anyway, the Sabbath, what turns out is there's a donkey ride on the 3rd, which is a Sabbath, and there's the triumphal entry into Jerusalem, which is on the Sabbath, the 10th. In between, Matthew records a donkey ride. But that Sabbath, there's a Sabbath. That's the Sabbath that was lost. Give us back our Sabbath. There's a Sabbath donkey ride that people don't know about. That's what I found. Oh, so anyway, yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
Just to paraphrase real quickly, you're saying that there's a lost donkey ride.
2, correct. They think all the good Christians, they all think there's one triumphal entry. But why does Matthew say 2 donkeys? Why do Mark and Luke say 1 wild ass? John says he found a donkey.
I'm sorry. It's just, come on. You heard the way he said it. I'm not the only one.
I heard wild ass.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hey, Robin. Yes. I just wanted to know, because we have been talking about talking donkeys as one does. Do you believe the story of the talking donkey?
Yes, of course. Yes. That's crazy. The first words out of Balaam or Balak or whoever the guy riding the donkey, the first words out of his mouth aren't, "What the hell?"
I know his first words are Shrek. What are we doing here?
Exactly. Yes, that's right. Well, I tried to do a Scooby-Doo, but that was... No, in the 70s, we got Scooby-Doo. We have no problem. Donald Duck walking around or whatever, Daffy Duck, no clothes. We got no problem. No problem.
None at all.
But no, Balak doesn't say, "What the hell?" Balak, whichever one. Yeah, that's kind of funky. So I think the where it says he opened his eyes or something, that was probably like in his head. I don't know. But I certainly believe it did happen. Yeah.
That part, if or happening in real life. But the talking donkey.
Yeah, Mr. Ed. Yeah, we got no problem with Mr. Ed. But you open up the Bible. Oh, God can't have a donkey talk. Oh my God, no. Or a snake.
And I get it. That is the claim we get. They're like, it's all powerful and he can't do this. But that's what the Muslims say when okay. Can I ask? I just want to have what I believe is a great analogy, and I know all analogies break down, but there is a passage, a surah, a chapter, so to speak, within the Quran. We talked about this earlier, that has talking ants. Solomon speaks with the ants. He laughs. He falls on his butt because he's having such a good time talking with them. Do you believe that such a thing can happen?
Yeah. I think David talked to the animals with his magical Star of David pagan charm. It's not a good thing to do. I've
Don't
never
want to
had
get
an
caught doing it.
I would not get caught doing it. I have not had an animal talk back to me, but I have had, I've spoken a lot to an animal in confession or whatever. But no, it's that's kind of freaky deaky to me, just as the donkey. But I'm also believing the rest of the Bible too, which y'all think is crazy. So I'm sorry, I'm a little bit more crazier in this section. Do you want me to
I
go
appreciate your honesty, though, and as much as we tease, we really do love.
No, that's
James,
why I got love for y'all. Love. You got nothing but love. You're the demonstration of these Christians coming in, dogging on you. Oh, you're going to hell. Oh, really? I thought you were supposed to love your neighbor more than yourself.
Too, Nunya. You're on your way.
Well, there is an expression like no love, like the Christian hate, but there are a lot of nice Christians out there as well. We know that
Mr. Batman's a Torah keeper too. I keep Torah.
I hope he comes out one day again.
Keep that Torah, sir.
But Nunya, we're probably going to be James, unless you have any other points or questions, we're probably going to ask you, Nunya, to have like a final thought, and then we're probably going to wrap up the call.
No, I'm good. I don't have anything to preach or teach. I just hope to hire you, but I don't want to give money in this stupid YouTube and have them go like, I don't know what percentage they take. I'd be embarrassed.
30%.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, anyway, yeah, I just need like to set up a web page and stuff. I don't know. My VCR blinks 12. Okay, I'm old school. I don't know, from Shiloh.
I need to take Amaretto's advice and create an OnlyFlans. It's kind of like OnlyFans, except it's just pictures of me next to flans. But yes.
Only figs. It just shows everything but the fig.
Only figs. That would drive That would drive Jesus crazy, right? He had that story where he just went nuts with the fig tree.
That's true.
Fig trees,
I love that meme. It must be from 1995, but it's a meme of Jesus with his head in his hands, and the quote is, "I said I hate figs." Oh, I love it. No, I want to do some business with you, but yeah, it's good to see you again, James. Amy loves.
Because
Amy, don't you know that the all-powerful creator of the universe forgot that it wasn't fig season? How dare that tree that he created, he ordained the seasons, and it's not fig season. How dare that tree? So we're going to have to kill the tree. That tree is going to have to die. Yeah, that tree will never produce any fruit. That tree is dead.
I'm going to teach that tree a lesson, James. But yes, thank you for coming on, Nunya.
From Bethany, it said the disciples were in the back, and Jesus went running up, but they heard him. They heard the conversation that Jesus was having with the tree. They heard Jesus yelling at the tree, and he was pissed off. He was angry, and when Jesus gets mad and pissed off, he does something about it. He doesn't just let it go. No. And I guess that's kind of what we do here. We get pissed off and we yell and we say mean things about God. Right, Amy?
We blasphemize. I have people that will ask me, why do you do such blasphemous things? And some of it is for shock value, but it's generally to also show that we can get away with it. The God is not coming down here. I do not mean to be, or James and myself, we don't want to be offensive. We're not trying to be, but if what we say offends you, then come and tell us why. In fact, this is the last call for Miracles Happen on Call Me Skeptical. I appreciate you coming on because it was a good conversation with a theist. I know I had a good time. James kind of called out that I had oh my goodness. There's always like a moment.
God is not mocked. Okay.
Not mocked. Except when he is. And it has to be a he. It's got to be a big schlanga ding dong. I always like when they try to argue so emphatically for that point. You have the Muslims who will say that it is built into Arabic, and so are you gonna criticize for? But then I'm like, oh, so it could be female, and they're like, no, 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 and you're like, oh, okay. So there's really all these Abrahamic religions. It's got to be a he, and it's got to be this Omni God, even though the Omnis never make sense and they are contradictory. In fact, I'm going to put a 5-minute timer. I did say that I would take my his father out for a meal. So 5 more minutes, boys and girls, and everything in between. I know that triggers them. And if not, James and myself will be back on. It's going to be the summer soon. I would like to create a more normal schedule of content again. And then even when I come back next year and I'm with it teaching, I think it's going to be way easier. I just had to do all this extra stuff because I was a first-year teacher in a lot of things. I'm going to be no longer a first-year professor. I'm going to be no longer a first-year special ed teacher. It's going to be nice to at least have a little bit of experience, and I can already see me being faster at grading.
Because you've already made lesson plans 1 year, so they're basically the same.
I have been able to create, in essence, a lot of you call them cheat sheets, but you create your own guides and your own rubrics and your own methodologies that just allow you to either create content or grade content easier. That takes a little bit of time and effort to get down, but once you do, I'm just looking forward to summer. I'm still going to be teaching professorship, but that's all virtual, and yeah, so I'm going to be enjoying the Norm Macdonald schedule. Oh my goodness. I love Norm Macdonald. I know Norm Macdonald probably would have loved our content because he was a religious man himself. However, I think he would have appreciated some of my joke style. I think that James and myself, sometimes we say the joke, whether we think that we're going to always get the laugh or not, just because we think it's funny. At least I know I do. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it has been a fun episode, and Pennsylvania has the best. I do love a good, it's funny, I don't get cheesesteaks, even though I'm starting to get an appreciation for cheese, but I put bacon on the meat and just have a good old time. It's kind of almost blasphemous just saying that.
We have a sub place down here that does better than cheesesteak called John Smith Subs.
John Smith Subs. Florida is weird in that they have some of the same, like, what's the word? Like some of the same restaurants and stuff. How is Wawa down in Florida and up here and nowhere else? It's just very weird.
Really? Nowhere else?
It's not a Midwestern. I don't think it's in the Cali thing. I don't think it's a general Southern thing. I think it's Florida and like the weird pocket of the Northeast. But go Wawa. Go fancy gas stations. I always like how there's a niche market out there for what I call, like, you don't want to go into just a gas station that's like a little teeny tiny and it's just the one guy. You want to feel like you can park in a nice parking lot and you can go in there and walk around a little bit and you can even get some kind of food that's made for you by multiple people. James, we get a ticket and everything in our fancy gas station. It's kind of fun.
This is gas station sushi. You'll want to eat.
You'll love eating it. I know, exactly. There's screens up above you that are big, giant LCD screens telling you what's new. It's fantastic. Bacon is Can I tell you my conundrum with bacon? It's amazing. And yet I feel bad for pigs. I do think that veganism is the intellectually moral position, and yet I cannot follow it. I am just bad at following it because of how good meat tastes. So to the people in the future who are looking back, I'm sorry. I tried. I want to. I know that pigs can play video games with joysticks. I know there's a pig out there that can beat me at Pac-Man, and yet I still Love it on my hoagies. Anyway. Yeah. I think without anything else, James, I think we're about to wrap up, and it has been a good Miracles Happen.
It was a good show.
Do you believe in miracles now, James?
Not yet.
Damn it. We were so close.
We've got regrow amputees or healed
I'm
people
only going to tease him
from
for
wheelchairs.
one thing. One single thing. He gave us Look at the Trees. I have to do the emoji. I'm sending love to you, Nunia. But that's like a classic. That's like one I can't even help myself. I'm just going to pin that right there. It is amazing. I love trees. The fact that the earth has not always been green and blue. The earth was blue and brown and gray. And
he's kind of like, yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, I believe all kinds of crazy shit. I believe God created the universe like snap, snap. So you want to talk about, a talking donkey. Oh, like that's something. Yeah, of course I believe in the talking donkey. I believe
he did. He was very positive about it. Where I get that you weren't having an attitude, but it is funny to be so sure that the donkey's talking. And yes, if it's omnipotent and it can do anything, then a talking donkey, I guess, isn't so silly. However, the fact that it isn't the same category as Shrek 1, 2, and 3 does make it a little bit funny. At least a little bit.
I mean, God could make a snake talk if he wanted to.
I know.
If that's what he needed to do to trick mankind so he could send billions of people to hell,
and then the people
do it.
I'm not saying that Nunia was like this, but then the people like Kent and the people that try and go on like genetics and evolution, they want very specific, intricate answers. But then when we ask them how God does anything, they just give us deer in the headlights looks. And yeah.
That's like they're not even trying to solve like the heat problem anymore. A lot of them have just like thrown their hands up and just said, "Well, magic."
If you believe in magic,
not a problem for God.
Speaking of which, abiogenesis, most likely a naturally occurring event. That's where all the evidence leads to, even if we haven't figured out the entire process, it is still what all of the available evidence is pointing towards. There's still no evidence for the supernatural. Boo-doo-boo. And evolution's a fact. It's a theory and a fact, just like germs and gravity. Evolution. All right, that's the NPSA. Sending love to all of you. I think that's going to wrap it up. I hope you all had a fantastic episode on this episode of Call Us Skeptical. Miracles happen. Oh, wait, hold on. Before I send us off. Answers in Atheism is live. Gonna send him into chat. Give me 1 second. We're gonna send him into, because ladies and gentlemen, we only have each other. We are a skeptic community out there. Head over to SpeedOfSound. He does amazing, fun content. His channel is right down below in chat and on screen, and he's live right now. So if you're looking for more fun in the sun, or even while it's nighttime, head over there. But with that, I hope you all had a fun time on this episode of Call Us Skeptical. Miracles Happen, where we opened up the internet phone lines to see why anyone could help us think why miracles happen for a miraculously good time. I do want to thank my co-host, James W., along with our callers tonight, none of your business, as well as all of the lovely people in chat, our mods who make this stream so great, and of course viewers like you who make this channel even possible. If you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe. I said it, YouTube, let them go now. And then you can share, especially if you're in a debate and you have someone with that topic in mind. Sending love, of course, to all the people who sent us super chats. Like, even though he says, just sending so much. to Disciple and Native and Sinister and all of the lovely people out there sending love. If you send love in the future to anyone who sends a super chat, to all of our channel members who are listed down below, along with our evolving badge system, and all of our Patreons at patreon.com/Amy Newman. I am Amy Newman, and James W. and myself will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone. Mwah!
Good night.